MJF claims to be the biggest star in AEW, and apparently we know it. But looking at the numbers, I don't think we do know it, because MJF's big return turned out to be a big flop. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling Time to break down the Dynamite numbers. And no, the numbers were not dynamite, they were not explosive, they were not huge, they didn't increase massively over last week's numbers. Last week, Dynamite did 787,000. This week, with the big return of MJF plus a world title match in the main event, do not forget about that, Dynamite did 790,000 views. So 3,000 more viewers overall this week compared to last week. People are saying MJF brought 3,000 viewers. Can we even give credit to MJF though for all 3,000? Because it was a world title match too. So yeah, MJF's return here practically made no difference to the show. No difference whatsoever. It's very disappointing. I don't think MJF's this huge star, but I thought he was somewhat of a star, especially in AEW, and I believe that him coming back would generate a bigger number than this, but it didn't, and we see now that AEW's best number in 3 months is the one show that they decided to show the CM Punk footage from All In. So I don't know what AEW need to do to get a good rating, but I mean, if bringing MJF back isn't going to do it, then who knows what is. And possibly, is this the wrong decision? Should they have brought him out the Dynamite after the pay-per-view? I would say absolutely. MJF comes back, and then they effectively wait, 10 days, 11 days to show him on Dynamite? I mean, it just makes no sense. If you're going to make a big return at the pay-per-view, and your next return, your next appearance should be on the very next show, I don't know why they wait a week. But who knows? Who cares? That's Tony Khan for you. Right, let's get into it. Quarter 1, 8 o'clock to 8:15. MJF promo with Rush interrupting him. This got 976,000 views. Now, to be fair to MJF, need to congratulate MJF here. This is the highest viewed Dynamite segment quarter in a long time. A very long time. I remember Mercedes Moné, when she debuted at quarter 1, got just over 1 million. I think it was like 1,001,000 people watching. So yeah, this is close to that, and it's the best quarter that they've got in a long time, but still couldn't break the 1 million territory. So plus, I do think the Big Bang Theory is back on. For a long period there, AEW were kicking off in the 900,000 range. And then I think they replaced the Big Bang Theory with Young Sheldon. And Young Sheldon mustn't be as popular because the lead-in to Dynamite went from like 900,000, like mid 900,000 to like 700,000. So obviously Big Bang Theory looks to be helping it. But let's give MJF a little bit of credit too, because maybe people were tuning in to see him. Quarter 2 though, 8:15 to 8:30. We got Jay Lethal versus Orange Cassidy versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Ray Phoenix, with a post-match with Don Callis, Trent Barretta, Chris Statlander, Stokely Hathaway, Willow Nightingale. Then we got Chris Jericho and Brian Keith, Bill Angle, or Big Bill, sorry, arriving at the arena. This lost 14%, down to 835,000 views, and in the demo, it lost 11%. So, Jericho might not be bragging too much about being the demo god this week. He was bringing it up last week, saying he's a demo god. This week he lost 11%. However, it was still the second highest rated quarter of the show and the second highest rated demographic of the show. So I'm sure Jericho will spin that and claim that he's a ratings god, but I mean, there you go. Quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45, we got a Nightingale backstage promo. Christopher Daniels coming out on the ramp doing a promo, and then we got Mark Briscoe versus Brian Cage. This lost another 10% in viewership, now down to 754,000. So this is what we're used to with AEW. This is a trend. We are, half an hour in, and they've lost about 225,000, 222,000 to be exact. So again, now that they're getting the bigger lead-ins to the show, they're losing more of their audience. Now, what I will say is from quarter 3 onwards, they actually maintain. It's pretty consistent. Because normally there was a trend with Aew Dynamite, it would just get lower and lower and lower. But for some reason, this week, they actually seem to hold viewers, and they actually won back viewers at this point. So, quarter 4, Briscoe versus Cage continues. Jack Perry backstage. We get the Samoa Joe Hook, Premier Athletes backstage angle. More Jericho. We get Matt Menard in there, Angelo Parker, Young Bucks in the Acclaimed, Billy Gunn live angle where they cut the music, and then we get Swerve Strickland backstage promo. This went up 1%, and it did 761,000, so it went slightly up. Quarter 5, top of the hour, 9 PM to 9:15, Mercedes Moné and Stephanie Fager video. Then we got the Blackpool Combat Club versus the 4 guys from Mexico. This went up 2%. 780,000. Quarter 6, 9:15 to 9:30 PM. They got the continuation of that match, and then we got a Daniel Garcia video. Young Bucks and the Acclaimed were backstage in an angle. Then we got the Young Bucks and Patriarchy angle with the beginning of Saraya versus Mariah May. This lost 8%. So I'm not really surprised. That Blackpool Combat Club match went on way too long. It was boring. You know, it was a Combat Club who are already boring versus 4 guys that we have no idea who they are from Mexico. This did, what, 714,000? Very low number. Lowest quarter of the show. And normally, Bryan Danielson, he's like always in some of the highest quarters. So, I mean, it just goes to show you. It doesn't matter how good you are, or who you are even. If you get put with shit, then the reality is they might drag you down. Now, I'm sure The Rock... You could put some random Mexican in a mask and stick him in a promo with The Rock, and I'm sure it would do a great number. But yeah, not so much here. You stick Bryan Danielson with guys that are just worse than him, guys like Wheeler Yuta, and then 4 random dudes from CMLL. It's going to go downhill. Quarter 7, 9:30 to 9:45 PM. Saraya versus Mariah May continued. Post-match with Toni Storm. Mina Shiraka comes down. Jericho, Keith, Bell again. Private Party backstage angle. And then a Bryan Danielson backstage promo. This went up 2% to 731,000. And then surprisingly, main event, we actually got a decent increase for once. And it was a world title match, so maybe to be expected. Quarter 8. 8:45 to 10 PM. Swerve Strickland versus Roderick Strong. This went up 5%, 768,000 views. And then the overrun, which was 6 minutes long, was a continuation of this match. Went up a further 3% to 792,000. So look, overall number, 790,000. It's not a great number, but if we are going to be fair here and give AEW some credit, at least they were consistent. After they lost their initial 222,000, from quarter 3 onwards, you know, the ratings didn't really move much. Yeah, they had that low quarter in quarter 6, but then they bounced back, and they pretty much got most of that audience that they lost in quarter 6. They got it back by the time we got to quarter 8. So, yeah, interesting to see, because normally there's been a trend over the past couple of months where AEW, it just gets lower and lower and lower. And by the time we get to quarter 8, you're almost under 600k. But this week, after quarter 6, the last 2 quarters actually went up. And quarter 8 finished with a decent rating. So, yeah, there you go. Pretty interesting. I expect it better with MJF. It wasn't to be. NXT now, we're getting very close to Dynamite. I think it's going to be interesting going forward. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing NXT beating Dynamite, to be honest. But this week, AEW Dynamite gets the win. Who'll get the win next week? We'll find out here, guys, on Fog Wrestling. Anyway, that's it. Catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.